Have you ever been so impacted by something that it leaves no doubt as to what helped shape you? Welcome to The Blind Impact, a podcast where we talk about and uncover those moments. Some funny, some sad, but it's not always tragic. I hope you'll stay for a while.
Hey guys, are you on?
Hi, yes, we're here.
We are here.
Oh, okay. Hey guys, this
Well, our guest today is Esperanza, and Esperanza has been on the show before with episode number 3 called "Scared I Just Shut Down." Really amazing episode. You guys have to check it out. But then we also have another guest, and Tim, or is it Timothy?
Timothy.
Timothy. So Esperanza and Timothy. So guys, I thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. But today, Esperanza, we know your background. Like we know your story so far. But Timothy, do you want to give us a little bit of insight about who you are?
Uh, I'm
You
an
can
old
fill
white guy
in.
that I like to think young, and uh, I've had a lot of experience in the grocery industry in my life. I've moved to Seattle and been director of sales, but what I liked best was just having a route and hanging out. And I was a single dad with 3 children also, so made it through that part of life.
Mm, that had to be pretty tough. Had to be pretty tough there. I mean, what was it? So how did you find that you were able to navigate single parenthood? Like, what were your best
I
resources?
was I was so fortunate in that, looking back, I don't know how my kids grew up to be such great kids. I mean, now they're all older and they have children of their own, and they all have stable relationships, and their childhood was nothing like that. So I think that they looked at it as, I don't want to be like my dad
Mm,
and grow up like him, or, grow up to be like him. So
mhm.
I did the best that I could with what I had. I was married the first time and we got divorced, and we had 3 children. And my second wife that I married after that said, if you ever get your kids back, I'm going to leave, which is what happened. The first wife died, the second wife left, and I was not really prepared for what was about to come, but I did the best I could and it all worked out.
Man, wow, that's I tell you that seems motivational in itself, right? Just having the I guess wherewithal just to kind of be just to be resilient. Like you didn't have a choice, right? So you had to raise your
Yeah.
kids, and you obviously did the best that you could have done, and being completely unprepared for something like that. I couldn't imagine having to do it, and especially as a male, right? Like that seems it's not as common, I think, right, for there to be
Right.
like single dads, especially probably back in that time. But I'm glad you were able to raise good, productive citizens, right? And then they seem to
Yeah.
be Esperanza.
Hey.
Say, hey, girl. So okay, so you knowing Timothy's background, like his story with his kids, did that create like a level of empathy between you or you for him?
You know what? It's just our relationship started in such a different way. Like I didn't get to know any of this uh at the beginning, I should say.
Okay.
Uh so I'm gonna let him tell you our beginning, and
Okay.
then I'll comment on that so you can have a better understanding on how we started all this
Okay.
adventure.
Okay. That sounds good. All right,
Uh,
Timothy.
I bought a Pete's Coffee route, and the guy that was training me told me that there was a really cute girl at this one particular store that was receiver, but I didn't get to meet her for a month. And then when I met her, I just had this feeling like she was really cool and really special. And so after a couple times of meeting her, I asked her out. And she goes, well, as long as you're not older than my mom. And we did the math on it, and I'm 1 month younger than her mom, so we went out. so we dated, and I trained her how to run a route so that in case an opportunity ever came up, which one did later. And I thought we were doing great. I mean, we would get together every weekend, and I just thought she was the one for me. And then one day she says, I'm going to break up with you. And I'm like, why? She goes, well, I need a Mormon guy, but I didn't know there was more to the story at that time. And I don't remember the way she tells it, so I'll let her tell that.
So at that time, like, he was, we were dating, but I found out that he was kind of like a player. So, he was like, yeah, I want to be I want us to be boyfriend, girlfriend, but I'm not planning on marrying you. I'm not planning on living with you. You stay in your house, I stay in mine. And, I'm not going to church with anybody. And at that time, I wanted to have a kid. And he's like, I'm not planning on having a kid. Get a dog. So, it was like,
I don't remember saying that, by the way.
you don't remember. Very convenient. And so, it was like we were not aligned. Like, I knew what I wanted. I wanted a serious relationship. I wanted to be married. I wanted a guy that wanted to have a family with me, and that, was God focused. And, it didn't matter what church, but I wanted him to go to church with me. And so it was like, dude, like, you don't want what I want, and I definitely know what I want. So if you cannot give it to me, that's fine. You keep going your way, I keep going my way. So I did. I didn't dump him, but it was, I was like, I'm not gonna make him waste his time. That's not what I want.
But I was very sad because I thought she was the one for me, even back then. So we didn't see each other for. I got her a job, but we loaded in different places, so I didn't see her very much. And one day she shows up with a husband, and I thought that was it. So
he had a girlfriend too at that time. So we went our separate ways. But because we worked for the same company, like, sometimes I call him to ask him stuff about, the work. And so we kept in touch, and we became very good friends. Like, we were very respectful of our relationships. So, but with time, like, we became like very, very, very good friends.
And then, so I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna ask Timothy, when you knew that when you became aware that she was married, what can you elaborate a little bit on how that made you feel?
Oh, I was just blown away. I thought we were really good friends, and then one day she just shows up with the husband who happened to be her ex, and I'm like, oh, I just cannot believe it that she got married. I was, because even back then, I would tell people, she was the one that got away. That I really thought that she was the one. I told all my coworkers this, that I really thought she was the one. So I was pretty sad.
And did you feel like there was just would never be a chance?
Yes, thought there would never be a chance. She was married. I had a somewhat psychotic girlfriend, so I was afraid to break up with her anyway. So I never thought. I thought Esperanza was not in my life anymore. And it turns out she was telling people on the other side she messed up, and she lost the love of her life by making a bad decision.
Because with the years, like, I get to know him. I get to know him as a person. Like, at the beginning, it was just everything was happening so quick that I was like, I'm getting into a relationship with this dude that doesn't want anything serious with me, and that I really don't know. But with years, like, I get to know him, and I knew that he was a good person. And I was like, I messed up this one. Like, he's a good guy. like I can tell that he loves me, because even when I told him that I didn't want to be with him, like he found me a job, like, he helped me, and he always said, I just like you as a person. You're a good person. I want to help you, even if you don't want to be with me. So, and with the years, I was like, I really mess up this one. And, I just cannot go back and say, I messed up, just leave her and come back with me. That's not fair to him.
Mhm.
So that's why we pretty much kept our relationships, like we didn't
Friendship level.
friendship. Yeah, exactly. Friendship wise, because we didn't want to, intrude in anybody's relationship.
Mhm.
Like I make my decision, so I was not gonna just go back. But, you know, it didn't work with my husband, and I decided to get divorced. And the only person I told was my boss. And I was like, I'm getting divorced. I'm going through, some changes, but please, please, please don't tell Timothy, because I really don't want him to, just dump his girlfriend because he find out that I got divorced.
And keep in mind,
Oh,
just time wise, this is 10 years after we first met.
okay. I was gonna ask that. Okay. Wow. Jeez. So, but Esperanza, at some point, did you know that in telling your boss, somewhere subconsciously you knew he'd tell Timothy?
You know what? Timothy say that he never told him, but who knows? I was hoping he didn't, because I really didn't want to, create any problems for him. But
Yeah.
eventually, like, we went through changes. Like, we were independent distributors, and then we become employees for the company. So we end up like seeing each other more often because of our warehouse situation. We were loading at the same warehouse.
But we stayed friends only.
So when I got divorced, uh, I saw him, and I mentioned to him that, I was divorced, and he's like, you know what? I just broke up with my girlfriend too.
Mm.
And he's like, do you want to do this again? Do you want to try again? And I was like, wait a second, like, try what again? Just to be boyfriend, girlfriend, and not be together for real? And
Right.
he's like, no, I'm going to do it right this time. And that's when we start going out again after that long.
So,
Jeez.
like a month after she said, yeah, and I just felt such overwhelming feelings towards her. I went and got a, we were out just shopping one day for clothes and stuff, and we wandered into a jewelry store, and she goes, oh, I really like that ring. And I go, so the next day I said, do you like that ring? Is this the nicest one you saw that day, or is that the one you want for the rest of your life? She goes, that's the one I want for the rest of my life. So I went and bought it the next day, but I didn't give it to her for 6 months. But I knew she was the one, so I went and bought it like immediately because I knew that would make her happy.
Oh my goodness.
And then ironically, when we got engaged, I gave it to her. I popped the question at and gave her the ring at a wedding we flew to in El Paso that was for her ex boyfriend. She asked me if I would go to this wedding in El Paso, and I said yes. But it was a guy she lived with in Puerto Rico for like 4 years. It wasn't just a passing dude. So
Yeah.
I popped the question that night, and the rest is history.
Jeez. Just when I thought that story couldn't be any more intricate. I mean, that is that has so many different twists and turns. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, it's but it's a beautiful story though, guys. And if the ring that she said she wanted for the rest of her life is the one that I've seen and it was blinding me,
Mhm.
I could have I could definitely understand why she chose that.
Yeah.
So really really good job on
So
that.
so to move in together, I had to sell my house
Mm,
where I lived and get someplace in the middle so we could both deal with that. And
okay.
that led to a whole bunch of things. And so we decided we're going to get married, and we chose a cruise ship, and the wedding people went out of business. And so 2 weeks before the wedding, we don't know if we're getting married on the boat or not, but we're going to take a cruise either way. And somebody called us and said, oh, sorry, the other people went out of business, but we'll take care of you. But they couldn't because we didn't have a wedding license, and it takes 4 months to get a wedding license at sea. So we ended up getting married at the dock of a cruise in our shorts and stuff. And then we had the major wedding on Friday, but we were already married because they couldn't marry us at sea because we didn't have a license to be married at sea.
What is it? Because it's just like, would it have been like international waters? Like,
Exactly.
what?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to get a license from the Bahamas, and it takes 4 months.
Okay.
And the lady says, well, if you can get your license, and this is like 2 days before the cruise, 3 days. And we had to rush down to the courthouse. We got there 5 minutes before the wedding. If we hadn't made it there, then you have to have your license in hand for 72 hours. It wouldn't have been a valid license, and we couldn't have got married at all on the trip. So God just worked it out for us.
Yeah, definitely. Oh goodness. Sorry about that. The panic. Esperanza, so did you have any feelings about not being able to get married on the cruise?
It was a challenge. Like, we were like at some point, because we have other stuff going on, like
Hmm.
our house got flooded. We had lightning strike our house like a week before. Like, everything was going crazy, and we were like, are we supposed to be getting married? Like, is it something that is telling us, don't do it? Because everything was going wrong. And like, literally, like, that lady called us Thursday at 4 p.m. and we had people in our house fixing the lightning stuff, like our electricity and all that. So it was a miracle that we got to that office 5 minutes before they closed. And but yeah, it was scary. I was like, is this like a sign or something? But I think it made it like extra special because we valued like we were like, what are we gonna do? Like, we really want to be with each other. This is what it's for us? So it was like we were so hard to get there that we appreciated even more.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And we enjoy our wedding. We have the best time ever.
Oh,
We took pictures all around the boat, and so it was a very, very, very nice experience.
oh, God. This sounds such like a movie script, guys. Like, I mean, this is something that y'all could definitely turn into your own Lifetime movie, right?
Oh
It's
yeah.
so
It was
cute. So
there
cute.
was there was weird stuff about the wedding. Everything, like she said, we had problems.
Hmm.
We turned our house over to a contractor uh, who we had never met on the Friday before we're leaving, and he says, "I'll take care of everything." Our house, they had to move every single piece of furniture out of our house to a storage shed. There's just so much to that part of the story. But when we came back from our honeymoon, we didn't know what was going to be there. If anything, did they steal everything, or
Right.
what happened? So there's just tons of stuff. But yes, uh, but the end, we live happily ever after.
The end.
But it sounds like it's just a very, very good story, I feel.
Mhm.
And that doesn't uh exempt our life from trouble and problems like everybody else.
Of course.
It's just like, uh, I feel like we see it in a more mature way. Like,
We have
when we got together, we agree, like, we don't want this and this.
Hmm.
And if we ever see that we're getting there, we're just not gonna be together.
Okay.
So, we go through our normal life with our
nor-
problems, our
normal
challenges,
normal ups and downs.
but
Yeah.
we just try to have a positive attitudes towards it. And, you know, we have our rules. Like,
Mhm.
we just agree to disagree. Like, we don't agree on a lot of stuff: religion, politics, the way we raise kids, you know, a bunch of stuff. But
Mhm.
it's like, that's your opinion, and I value your opinion, but I just don't think like that. And he value my opinion the way I see things too.
Mhm.
And, you know, if we have arguments, like, it's like, you know what, we don't want to be with a person that argues and yells and screams. So if we notice that we don't agree on something and we're getting kind of like in an argument, it's like, you know what, we need a break, because
Mhm.
we need to talk about things. We don't want to fight about things.
Sure.
And, you know, so we have our rules, I would say, that we follow, and we get along very good. And
Yeah.
he's there for me for everything, and I'm there for him for everything. Like, we do everything together: doctor's appointments, everything, we do it together. And I just love doing things for him. I love making him happy, and he loves doing that for me too.
Where are my tissues? Hey, look, so is with the love that y'all have for each other, right? And it is so like pure, and that's awesome.
But is there another part of you that holds back because of a fear of maybe not being in one another's lives, like just creating that one explosive situation that you just can't come back from?
uh, I don't. I don't fear that.
Hmm.
Um, we've both been through other stuffs in other marriages, and you learn, if you're smart, you learn what you don't want and what you do want.
Hmm.
And we don't let ourselves in arguments or fights get to the point of losing it. You know, we'll take a break, and I think the maddest we ever been, the most it's ever lasted, is like a day or two.
Okay. Wow.
And I try to go by this rule: if you're not gonna remember what you were fighting in 10 years, it's not worth fighting for.
Hmm.
It's just not worth it.
That's good. I'm gonna use that.
Yeah.
I mean, really, because you think about like there's so many reasons to get into some sort of argument, and it's just like, is it really worth it? So I mean, that's good sage advice. Just walk away, right? Like what really deserves your energy?
Yeah. And it's not about who wins and who lose. We are a team. If you lose, I lose. If you win, I win. So, you know, we're not working against each other. We are a team. We want a good future. We want to be a good couple. We have to work together, not against each other.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So right. So what does it? How does it look like on for either one of you? You can answer or both. But what does it look like for having kids on your side of Esperanza, and then Timothy, you having kids also? Like the relationship between each of those dynamics, does you find that it's working out pretty well?
Yes, it's been pretty seamless. It wasn't at the start.
Okay.
Like, my kids are her age, so they were apprehensive
Mhm.
about her.
Sure.
Uh, but once they got to know her and realized that she was a part of my life, because I've been married a few times, and they go like, "Oh, this is another one." But then
Mhm.
when they realized this isn't another one, they saw how happy she made me. Then they told her to love her to death, and her kids enjoy me, and
Mhm.
uh, there's just it's been pretty seamless.
Wow. That's rare.
Yeah, after we passed the hard part, like, his daughters, they welcome my family.
Oh.
And even my son called his daughters sis. So, you know, so it's funny, but yeah, like every time we have like Thanksgiving, Christmas, like, you know, her daughter is like, we want our families to be together. Like, we don't want to have to divide Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we just pick
Right.
one house, and we all the families are together. So we don't even divide our families. Like, we make space for all of them to be together.
Esperanza, do you feel like what you just described? Do you feel like that made you fall more in love with him?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
I
so
always tell him I feel more in love and I love you more every single day I spend with you. And I do. It's just it's real. Like I could never imagine like I can love this guy anymore. Like but yeah, I do. Like every single time it's like, oh my God, what I'm gonna do without you. Like I cannot even live without you. Like it's just I love him so much.
Oh my goodness, that's so sweet. Timothy, now it's your turn.
okay. So let me ask you. When Esperanza went through her health situation and you didn't know what was going to come of it, what where was your head at in all of that?
uh 100% on being supportive.
Mhm,
uh she would get ahead of herself, like, you know, we know there's an issue, but we don't know exactly the extent of the issue.
mhm,
And she would be like wringing her hands and going like, oh, they're going to cut my breasts off, and
mhm,
oh, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. I go, baby, let's just gather all the information, let's bring it back a little bit, let's hang tough, and when we get all the information, then we'll be able to make good decisions. And so I just wanted to be supportive of her and keep her head straight, because she was going off in all bunch of different directions. I was just trying to keep her grounded and let her know everything was going to be okay no matter what happened. If they cut off both her breasts, that don't make any difference to me. I just want you with me. I don't care if you got breasts or not.
mhm. Wow.
So my head was just keeping her straight.
Well, sounds like you did a really fantastic job of that. Was there any level of fear there for you?
Oh
You
yeah,
know.
extreme level of fear, losing her, certainly.
Mm,
Like I said, we didn't know all the information, so we don't know, like, does she have 3 months to live?
mhm,
She going to lose her breath? We didn't know what was going to happen. And the thought of being without her going forward in life was horrendous. And my brother, just months before that, suddenly lost his partner. And he has a relationship with his partner like I have with Esperanza, where they're your everything.
mhm.
And he was lost, and he's still lost today. It's been over a year. And I thought of that. I go like, that's how I'm gonna end up. I don't if I don't have her going forward in my life, how am I gonna make it? Because she's my everything.
Mm, 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 mm. Well, thank God that's not how it
Yes,
turned out,
yes.
and
God blessed us on that one.
he really did. He really truly did. And with you being able to be that support for her, and as for Ronzi, you just allowing him to be that support, even if you were, up and down about it all, you were able to allow him to be your support. And I think that that's something that you guys have to continue to just remember and embrace. When times are good and bad, just remember that so y'all can hold on, because you're together for a reason. Like it's
Hmm.
very clear, right?
Hmm.
Very clear. And I'm again just really grateful just for the inspiration, just hearing this. It's a story that I really inspiration to be able to see that it's possible out there to join families, because nowadays everybody has kids, and if you're out there trying to find somebody who's a man or a woman without kids, it's good luck, right? So you have to be able to be open minded about taking that on.
Exactly.
Also,
Yes.
hmm yeah,
And one of the thing is like, like at the beginning, like I have so many doubts and it's because like every time you have a previous marriage or, a previous relationship, like
hmm
whatever didn't work out with them, it's just it didn't work out with them. Not all guys are the same. Not all women are the same.
hmm
So, like if you're in that stage, getting to know someone and you have a previous relationship, don't let that influence your new relationship. It's a total different person. So, just give yourself a chance and the person a chance.
That's
And, don't let your past ruin it for you, I would say.
find your own advice. Like, what were some steps you took to not let your past influence you and Timothy's relationship?
It was very hard, and sometimes it's still, because like I was very hurt, and like I always tell Timothy's, like, I don't even trust my shadow. Like, I have really hard trust
Mhm.
issues, and at the beginning it was very hard, and but he's a like, and I sometimes get to that point again. It's like, and he's a very supportive person. He's like, he tells me, I'm not going anywhere. I love you. I'm never gonna fail you. I will never do anything to hurt you. And he's like, I've told you this 10 times, but I'm gonna tell you as many times as you need it. And that's what I need. I need someone to tell me, I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna stick with you. I'm not gonna fail you like other people failed you. So
Mhm.
that's very good. And I know, like, in our previous uh interview, like, we were talking about a situation, health situation that I went through, and I didn't mention him too much in that conversation, because I felt like it was more related to, what people outside was
Mhm.
doing for me. But, like, he was my support. Like, he was there for me the whole time. Like, I cried every night, and he was there to hold me and tell me that everything was okay. And my worst negative times, he was there, and he was like, just take it easy, just let things happen. And he was there all the time. Like, he supported me, and he took care of me, and he was there. Like, I thought he was gonna be like, more like, oh yeah, you're her kid, you're her mother, come help me. But he didn't want anybody. He was like,
Mhm.
this is my job, this is my wife, I'm taking care of her. So, and all that, like, just all that, like, words are important, but his example and his actions definitely say a lot more than words. And he have always been so good to me, and he have always done so much for me, that it's just, it melts your heart. There's no
Well,
way how to,
she
Explain
makes it
it.
easy. She's a great person, so it makes it
Oh,
easy to make her happy, to want to make her
please,
happy.
guys. Oh, my goodness. And the fact that y'all like to do everything together, like that's so that's probably the cutest thing of this whole story, just not getting sick and tired of
No,
one another.
we never do. As a matter of fact, this next week she's on vacation for the first time ever.
Mhm.
She's going to visit her son in Idaho, and I'm staying here. And so we're going to be apart for 4 days. We've never been apart before, and we're both kind of freaked out.
I can I can't. Ooh, ooh,
So,
cause Tim, you
so
we talked earlier about your food, and how good of a cook are you?
I'm reasonable. I grill really good, and I make
Okay.
great casseroles.
Ooh. Okay. So you
I
gotta get
learned
them.
during COVID.
he just
Oh.
prefer me cooking.
But she's the best cook I've ever met. So
Oh
yeah,
wow.
no kidding. She's the best cook I ever met. My mom, anybody. She cooks really well. So there's no need for me to cook.
Yeah, I guess there really wouldn't be, right? So what are you gonna do when she leaves? Like you just gonna be eating out, or as brother, have you already prepared a bunch of meals?
No, he's gonna have to. We have plenty of groceries, easy enough for him to do whatever he wants to eat. But definitely, yeah, no, I'm not cooking for a whole week.
You're like, ah, like, who? Anybody feeling emotional about being apart? I know you said you're freaked out, but like,
Yes. Well, I just envision what life's going to be like, and then I envision what it's going to be like when we get back together. It's going to be Amazing.
Oh yeah, fireworks, huh? All right.
Oh yeah.
Well, we have fireworks. We have fireworks every day, so
Oh, that's so cute. Oh my God, y'all make me laugh. That is so funny. So funny. Mm-mm-mm. Well, guys, I don't.
Guys, I have so many questions that I want to ask, but I don't want to keep holding you up. But I guess the one last thing is do you have any advice that you feel you could give any of the young people out there, or maybe even some of the older ones who maybe experienced, maybe multiple marriages or still looking for the one? And Timothy, you first, but what advice could you give the women out there that are looking for marriage?
I would say just for couples in
Mhm.
general, I I wish I could have learned earlier in life what I know now, which is if you really really love somebody, then it's not that hard. But when you don't love somebody and you're just trying to make it work, it's rough. So my advice would be pick the person that you really honestly love. Know you love them, not just think you love them.
Mhm. That's sound. And do you think that you applying that advice? Do you think that that is what has helped to make this marriage a success?
Yes, definitely, because if you really love somebody, like say you're having an argument, disagreement, and you go like, you know what, I love her, and I don't care if it's blue or red. She can pick whatever color she wants. It's not that important. You don't have to fight about everything. And so, if you really, really love somebody, you just want to make them happy. And if that's what you want, then go ahead. And so, as a result, we don't fight because she feels the same way.
Okay. Wow. Wise man. Very wise.
It took a while.
Yeah. Yeah. But you got it now, and you're holding on to it.
Yeah,
Holding
definitely,
on.
definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. That's Rhonda. What about you?
I I would say first, like I previously say, don't let your past ruin your
Hmm.
future relationship, and don't let anybody tell you that age it's not gonna work, because like he's 20 years older than me and we make it work just fine. Like I like when sometimes people ask me, why did you marry, an older guy?
Hmm.
Like,
They
what
don't
you
say
were
they don't say
thinking.
old. They don't say older. They say old.
Yeah, they say old.
Why did you marry an old
Why
guy?
did you marry an old guy? I don't see him like that.
Uh.
I just see how much he loved me and how good he is to me. I just see how much I love him, and it worked for us. Don't let them tell you, oh yeah, age, oh race. I'm
Hmm.
Hispanic, he's white. We make it work. We don't have the same traditions or things, but we didn't grow up in the same type place or in the same circumstances, but we make it work. It's about how you feel, and if you love that person, you're gonna make it work.
Yep.
No matter what. Yeah. No, that's so awesome. And I can tell you, Esperanza and Timothy, I hope that you don't mind me saying this. I'll edit it out if you don't want me to. But I will tell you, anytime he's talking about you, like his eyes, like tell a whole different story. He didn't even have to, it's like he doesn't even have to even use words. Like I already know, like he is. There's just, it's just such a deeper connection, for y'all. And I really enjoy hearing him talk about you. And it's just something that just it's just he just has an openness about that, and I think that's it's great. It's a good thing. I feel good about hearing about y'all's relationship, and it's not my marriage, but it makes me very happy to hear.
We
So
really think we're
it's good.
soulmates.
I can believe that. I believe it. And it's so cute to see it, and who cares about age? Like, it doesn't matter because y'all are a really good looking couple. Like, you don't know that there's a 20-year difference, Like, you don't see it because neither one of you look your age. So, you know, that's good. Who cares about that? Really, truly. All right, guys, this has been the Blind Impact. Today's guest has been Timothy and Esperanza. They are our married couple of the week, something to
Hmm.
aspire to, right? Really good advice, guys. Thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Thank
And
you for having us.
Thank you,
of course,
Francis.
you're very welcome. You're very welcome. And guys, if you want to tell your stories about your marriages or any other story, please write in at the blindimpact@gmail.com. And Esperanza and Timothy, I will be talking to the both of you soon. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of The Blind Impact. If you like the show, please rate, subscribe, review, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. If you have a story you'd like to tell, please email me at theblindimpact@gmail.com. Or if you have a story you'd like to have read here by me, please include those details in the email or the voice message. Thank y'all, and remember, it's not always tragic.